Should I start like this?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm leaving that in. Hello, everybody. Video here for you today. This is Coach Steve Money and my pal Zig. I met him on the J Free 906 podcast, and go check Jeff out over there on YouTube. That's his name of his YouTube channel, and tell him Steve and Zig sent you. And this is what we call the Curse of Oak Island deep dives. Deep dives, exactly. And so basically, what we're gonna do to be different from the other stuff I do, this is just gonna be like things that we prepare especially for this show that aren't necessarily having to do with recent episodes, but in this case, it does. And since Zig did not comment on this upcoming week, we're gonna start with that, the previews for the upcoming week. And apparently this preview that starts with that was released like a week and a half ago. It was on the Lost U-boats right after what was before Hi-Ho Silver? Do you remember? What was the name of that one?
The Norse may be with
Yes,
you.
may the Norse be with you.
May the
And
Norse be with you.
so the Lost U-boats that aired after that, I think that was their episode 2, which I'm also doing no cap recaps of. So check those out if you're interested in that.
The recap.
This preview came out, and I don't know if it's like a full rest of the season trailer or if it's part of what's going to be on the new episode, which is Wet and Wild. And more on that in a moment. But so this thing, I don't know when this is, but I saw this picture, and apparently a field trip is in order, and so I Google imaged it. Beg your pardon?
I said not according to Linda.
Right, right. So
We'll find out.
I Google imaged it, searched it, and it is Valkenburg Castle ruins in the Netherlands. So that's apparently
Who suggested Norway?
where they're going. That's right. So this is another view that I got. This wasn't in the preview, but just thought you'd like a different view of it.
That's a great shot.
Indeed.
I tried to find this on the maps though, and I couldn't locate it.
I wonder if they did any repair on the stair part right there.
It's definitely falling apart.
All right, so and this is that preview still. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be on the episode for this week, which is a game called Wet and Wild.
Sure looks like
this is going to be, if you're watching this later, this is for the preceding the March 26th episode. Alrighty, and so this is Alex Lagina. Rick is there also. They showed him on a different shot,
AKA
but he's holding the picture of the lead cross up against a carving there in the Netherlands. And so, I mean, if that's an exact match, I mean,
I wish
crazy.
we could see if the top of the cross was round here.
They didn't show it. They didn't show it.
They don't.
On purpose.
I wonder if they did that on purpose, right?
Maybe.
Thank you, Prometheus.
They're making a they're making a show. They're making a show for you.
Sure.
Right, and so then we got people in the money pit working. This was off that same preview, and so this could have been any time in the garden shaft, really. I'm not seeing the horizontal drilling that we're going to talk about in a second, so this could have been from any time, and they just picked it up and put it in there. And then at the end of the episode, or the end of the preview rather, Rick says, this is the most interesting thing has ever been found on Oak Island, and they don't open it for this preview.
What's in the box, Rick?
We'll get to it. That's right. What's in the box? It's from a movie called Seven, kids. Check it out. Brad Pitt. Samuel L. Jackson? No.
Yeah, great movie.
Morgan Freeman.
7.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, 7. Okay, and so
Brad Pitt.
This is the Oak Island graphic.
The scene out by the electrical lines. Yeah.
For the right?
Sephiroth.
For the Tree of Life, and they're saying that
Why is there so
Nolan's
many dots on
Cross is basically the inside of the tree of life, and that the wherever the treasure would be related to this. Thought you were going to jump in with something else.
Oh, my
And
fault.
that's
Yeah,
the
too
one
many.
that's the one that's missing. Okay.
It's
And
like one
so,
extra dot.
right. And so this one is, I didn't know where this was. And so I asked my pal Zig, who does all map
Yeah.
overlays and stuff, as you'll see in a moment. I said, hey, where is this? You know, you see the water there and the trickle down. So I thought, is that the middle of the swamp? No, he's coming right off a road here. And so I was like, where is that?
It's
And
definitely
Zig
close.
found it in about 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's kind of that north end above the eye of the swamp. But that's basically Oak Island Drive right there, running to the right, north, south in this picture.
Right. And so, like, south of that, or if you would go, I guess, 45-degree angle south, so southeast,
Yeah, southwest.
is Fred Nolan's front door.
Nolan's house. Yeah, right.
Yeah, is right
Yeah,
there.
this is like
So,
just south of this photo right here, or technically east in the photo is is his driveway. So
right. So to relate this to a previous episode, let's go all the way back to season 1. Peter Amundsen originally had this tree of life theory, and he said, "All right, the Kingdom Stone is here.
yeah,
Let's go find it." And then the Mercy Point was, and they did find it, and the Mercy Point was in the swamp, and
and that was
diver
before
Tony
the swamp
Sampson.
was drained.
Yep.
They were out there with 4x8 sheets of plywood skirting
Hmm.
across, and I think Peter Amundsen ran out of time.
Right. And they just found
And
some like smaller stones
yeah, there were some smaller
around it.
stones that they pulled up, but they almost looked like what Dr. Spooner has said looked like excavated stones because they were broke up and had more jagged edges on them. So could have been dumped there. Who knows? Or placed.
Right.
But they were smaller stones. They weren't big stones, and they never found anything with markings on them. In
Right.
fact, I think they even had Tony Sampson come and dive there in the muck right there trying to find that.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
said he was able to get a couple hits, but then they disappeared.
Right. And that is crazy when that happens.
Yeah, I mean that's the
That
curse, right,
is
or whatever it is. It's
crazy. Well, they had a
some
theory for that. Somebody offered a theory saying that the trace elements go up into the water and can get detected, and then when you start moving around in there, you're moving around all
stir 'em
those
up.
trace elements, and then it's not enough of them to make the hit anymore. So I can't remember when that
Plausible.
was. Yeah.
Plausible for
So
sure.
yeah. Science is going to rule the day. It's going to win the day
Yes.
on Oak Island. All right. So do we have anything? Oh, about the tree. The remaining stones, other than they could only do 2 in season 1 because the rest were on Fred Nolan's property. And so he wouldn't allow that. He was not getting along with Dan Blankenship, and so he wouldn't really work. Rick talked to him a few times, but he wouldn't really work with the team since they were partners with Dan Blankenship. But now, as you can see, like I said, this is just a little ways from the Nolan house front door. And so they're
I'm pretty sure
definitely on it.
Tom Nolan's on board now.
Tom Nolan, 100% on board, and
Absolutely.
Fred even came on board like the last year before he died. Fortunately, he was able to provide his survey maps and a bunch of other research to the team. So that's awesome.
Seems like at the end of our lives, sometimes we realize the mistakes we make. So
that's right. You realize, oh, I'm going to be gone. This stuff is important. Somebody should have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who better than Rick Lagino?
Kind of like Dave Blankenship and all those guys,
Yeah. Absolutely. So he dug as you can see, they dug a swath right there, I think, or just that's coming in, and they dug a little bit. It looks like they maybe
did like a little test pot right there, yeah.
Yeah, and so Jack says, wonder if this is marking something. Is that just I didn't even notice the white markings on it
Yeah, I did
before.
notice the discoloration in it, but I don't know if those are markings or if that's just the natural color of the rock.
You think so? It
Hard to
would
say.
change that much between
You wouldn't think so, not being
maybe
underground
Billy
either. So it looks
scraped
like
it?
that's been, well, that could be. If the
Yeah,
excavator scraped it, it would
yeah.
definitely make a mark like that
All right.
because they did that to the swamp stone
Mhm.
when he was rocking it around and everything. There's now little marks on the side of it. I've noticed.
Adjustment, sorry. And yeah, so this is great stuff. As you say, I hope you people are appreciating this. This is
And is
wonderful
that the
stuff we're
stone,
talking
or
about.
is Prometheus just showing us some random rock?
Right. Because we don't really ever know, but
You know,
hopefully, it's almost all the 100% factual.
we'll find out.
It absolutely we will.
Tomorrow is the day.
Right. And so here we have what was in the box that Rick had in the other preview. All this recent stuff that we've been talking about is actually stuff from the definitely from this upcoming show called Wet and Wild, and
Let's
we'll show you what it's called that in just a second. But this apparently found on lot 8.
8.
You remember what season?
Ooh, I don't. I knew you were gonna ask me that. Nope.
Not that long ago. Maybe 2 seasons, one or not. I
Maybe
think
8,
more than
9,
one.
10.
Yeah. So anyway, but these are who is it? That's Doug Kroll. I think says this is Viking stuff.
A lot of people think that that's Viking. I think you got another image of this later with my little drawing over the top
Right.
of it.
Right.
But I don't know. Like I said, when I Google lensed it, it came up with everything Chinese, Mayan, even
Could be
Phoenician. So
anything. Right.
nothing specific popped up. So that image or that specific
Mm-hmm.
iconography there, there's no record of it.
You see this kind of stuff in every Tomb Raider game too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
all the Celtics like to use knots. The Phoenicians used a lot of rounding and intertwining and knots,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean they created the alphabet. So who's to say that? And then actually, season 2, what there was Jay Hutton
Pulitzer.
Pulitzer,
Mm-hmm.
which some people I think maybe think he's a quack, but I don't know. Anyways,
You said
he's the one
some of his stuff checked out though, his lines and
that
such.
he apparently found a sword
Oh right, that
out,
Roman sword thing. Yeah.
and then there was some speculation about whether it was real or not because he was talking about had special electromagnetic properties, and he was trying to go very paranormal on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still respect the fact that he thinks the Phoenicians might have been involved. He thinks maybe they were the first ones that thought the stuff needed to get out of Solomon's temple and took it. But that would be like a long time before the money pit.
Right. Indeed. All right, and so excuse my end screen there that I had on this preview. As you can see, right in the middle of the screen there, that is water coming into the money pit. And a lot
It's
of
like water.
people are worried, and definitely they show them scrambling to get out. But I would
Yeah, why
think
did they have to
their
put the screams at the
experience.
end?
Beg your pardon?
Why did they have to put the screams at the end?
Oh yeah, they're
I
selling the
mean,
show.
I had just got done watching the Rest All episode, and
Hmm.
where they had Lee Lamb on there,
Yeah.
the daughter of Rest All.
Right.
Golly, you were talking
Yeah.
about. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch anymore.
Right.
But I'm back. I'm here. I am.
Yeah, you are. You didn't go
Right.
anywhere.
Nah, nah.
But these guys are pros in their experience being in tunnels and shafts and stuff. And if you know anything about Oak Island, you know about the flood tunnels. So I
Oh,
would be
I would
expecting it at any second is what you got to be
absolutely.
doing.
If you're not ready
So
for water to come rushing in, you're in
right,
the wrong line of work.
right. So and I bet that happens a lot, in any hole you're in.
I still say it's because Jack moved that rock in the swamp. This
Right,
happened. It's
right.
not the drilling.
Yeah, he's strong. He did that.
Move a
He did a good
rock,
job.
flood a tunnel.
Right. All right. And so this is from the next preview, I think, that was the combo trailer for Curse of Oak Island in Lost U-Boats of World War II, where it's just like 10 seconds of stuff from each show. And they have Rick on there before this shot saying, we're doing probe drilling. And I guess we hit a flood tunnel. And then it shows, oh, I don't have that one. It went like, it showed that again, I think. I think I put that at the end so you would see what the probe drilling machine looks like. And so basically they're just going, they're just going to go, they're at 106 feet down. And so they just wanted, the tunnel didn't turn out to be so much of a tunnel, at least not so far, but they just wanted to find out like what's through the wall this way and that way and that way and that way. And yeah, if you don't know already, I mean, check my no cap recaps or watch the episodes if you can. But they found boards that they think are the floor of the tunnel, but there's no walls or ceiling.
And again, in my mind, right there, if you have an existing cavern and it's strong enough that you don't have to shore it up, but you need to be able to have a solid surface to move things on, maybe you only need a floor.
Could be.
And then because of time and the water rushing through there and the different movements, it actually has caused collapses in other areas, just like Jeremy's talked about with the carbonates. Mm-hmm. So we're all speculating.
Good point. Like, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. All right. So that one. Okay. So we're back to
Valkenburg.
So now we have a bunch of stuff from my pal Zig. Let's get rid of that one. Let's show that one. And it's on the right slide. My goodness. All right.
How about that?
How about
so
that?
So the hotkeys worked.
Indeed.
That's good.
Okay. So now
I guess
next is up, I think. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. That's okay.
Go ahead.
So basically what we're looking at here is when the preview came out, and actually this is from Steve's World War II combo promo, but this was the tree of the Sephiroth that they showed. But now I'll point out that in this image, this is another thing that Prometheus likes to do. They mirrored this image. So Mercy is actually on the left in this image, when in the actual Tree of Life, it's on the...
Oh, right. I didn't notice that. See, this
threw me off at first. I was like, wait a minute, am I wrong? And then I was like, nope, they're doing it to screw with me. So
this is why I have this gentleman on here for stuff like that, because I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so figured that out. So all my wording here is right, at least in the red, and I have a better image next that comes up to show. Okay. Yeah, so here you can see kind of where I've labeled each of the items. And notice just above the Kingdom Stone, in between the foundation and the Kingdom Stone, there's one extra node right there where the lines point to. It's very possible that that's that extra 14th point on his drawing, but it doesn't have a label on the Tree of Life.
And would that just be for, the geometry of it?
Well, actually, technically what it is it's cone D. So it has a name. It is a cone. It is a stone there.
Oh, it is.
It just doesn't have a spot or a name on the Tree of Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what you're looking at that little scion circle there is actually cone D. I don't have that label on there.
And it's not the same on top and bottom, so it couldn't be accidentally flipped around.
Yeah, no, I think I've got mine right here. And this is just showing the overlay that I did with the dome carving, which I was a little mind blown at how proportionally correct a carving in dome could be to physical measurements on the ground.
They
were mathematicians, man. They knew science and art and math, and they could calculate the movements of the stars by their thumb, you know. So I'm not surprised at all. It just it's mind blowing when you insert these images and you see how close everything falls out.
And we had a hard time making a YouTube video.
And we struggle with hotkeys, yes.
Indeed.
So that's, anyway, you want to go to the next image?
Yeah, so this is Dome, France. This is the previously on the Curse of Oak Island on the field trip to France, where they went to Dome, D-O-M-M-E, and the prison where Templars were kept after they were ostracized, disowned, disemboweled, disavowed.
Uh, yeah, disavowed for
Right,
heresy. Right.
exactly.
Yes. And
And
actually, the
it
Red Cross will
is
look at this.
this tree of life is just to the right of the carving of the leg cross.
Correct.
All
Which
right, I got something right. Cool.
I'm still
What?
not sure if is that Christ or is that John the Baptist. I still want to say it's John the Baptist.
Don't don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't know.
I mean, it probably has religious connotations both ways. So,
Yes. Yes. Either way could work.
right. And then here I'm just showing, this is out of my map, and I just kind of wanted to do it for clarity to just show what all my stuff shows without the images overlaid behind. So here you can see all the different Sephiroths, the layout of the cross, the blue dash line or the blue center line is Oak Island Drive. The little red house in between, right just under understanding, is Nolan's property and his house. You can see the cairns, the stone cairns from a couple episodes back where I've done my little overlay of those. So this is just kind of a cleaned up view of my map in that area.
Right. And we did talk about wouldn't it be crazy if Fred Nolan built his house on top of something very important without realizing it.
Well, if
Any of the
you see
structures on
Dath,
there could happen. Could be.
if you see Dath, or I don't know how you say that, Dath knowledge,
Darth
just
Vader.
below the headstone, just
Yeah.
southwest of the headstone. So I think I mentioned to you yesterday that if I was going to dig somewhere, I would dig there because you have to have knowledge to dig or to know where to dig,
Yes, you
right?
did say that. It was very
It doesn't
wise.
necessarily, beauty is not necessarily the key to what we're looking for. Knowledge is what we're seeking. So,
That is correct.
and that would be technically right next to his garage. He's got like a little outbuilding, a little garage building right there that is right next to that Dath location.
All right, so you see, and about in the middle there, that Mercy Point, that is indeed in the swamp.
Absolutely. Whether it's that close to the peninsula or not is to be determined,
Determined,
but
right?
yeah, that little white outline there with the red text inside of it right below Mercy.
Maybe
That's
it's
kind of
under the
my outline.
peninsula instead,
Maybe it is. I mean,
where previous hits have
it could
happened.
be right where Billy's sitting right now in
Yeah,
his excavator.
yeah.
Well, not right now, but you know
Right.
what I mean.
When it's warmer, he will be.
When it's warmer,
Yeah.
right? I was so surprised in episode 2 when they were out there on the ice on the swamp with that EMF out
Hey
there
man,
doing the resonance testing.
hey man, you get.
I mean,
I
you gotta do
mean,
what you gotta
that's the
do.
best time to do it.
That's right.
And we don't have
And
to
they
get
don't
all
go out there
messy.
anymore during this
Yeah.
winter. So,
All right.
all right.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, sure. Next image.
Okay.
All right. So once you sent me your aerial shot from the preview
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's where.
and
Yeah.
asked me where I thought it was, then I started looking around for common features, and I was like, well, I know that's Oak Island Drive up there. Da da da. Where could it be? And well, what's the closest stone that they're looking for to the road? Okay, well, it's not necessarily beauty, but it is. So there's the beauty stone, and that's probably what they're digging for. Of
Right. So
course,
this was the in Nolan's, as you can see, Nolan's house right there.
yeah, that if you follow
Knowledge.
that white line up to the southeast, up to the northeast, that would almost point directly towards Nolan's house.
Right. And so you can see it's been from the way it looked, the earlier picture, it's been cropped and flipped so it would fit here so you could see where it was.
Yeah, yeah, they like to do that too. They like to flip us 90 degrees and
Right.
stuff.
But
It's
the excavator is
disoriented.
really small in this because of the way
It
it had to be
is.
resized
That's because
to
of the
fit.
scale
Yeah.
of the image, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Their drone was up probably about 300 feet here.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, just from knowing
Give or
drone
take.
flying, and I have a drone that I fly occasionally.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Ever get any footage of it? Can you record?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Fun.
I've
Oh,
recorded
fun.
quite a few things. In fact, we're going to go out to the Calderwood area for Easter, and I plan on some of the stuff out there. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll put some videos on my YouTube.
Okay, awesome. And your channel
Yeah, my channel.
is,
It's a little hard to find. It's different than anything. It's at Don Capo
it has the
Productions.
ad in it.
It the ad is, I think, typical for all if you
Oh,
want to
it can,
find
yeah, it
YouTube
can
channel.
be. Yeah,
So
doesn't
if you're on
necessarily have
YouTube
to
and you're
be though.
searching, you can just search for it's DONCAPO Productions.
I'll put a link to it in the description.
All good.
Okay.
I appreciate any visitors.
Alrighty. Let's blow him up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And then, like I said, DAF, you can see it right here.
Hmm.
It's right there. There's an outbuilding and a driveway right there where Nolan's got a bunch of cars parked. So I don't know if that's his car collection or his his workshop or what, but
Right.
I've been saying for years it's in his basement. So
Now, maybe.
yeah.
Ready? And then that one.
And this is just kind of showing, I guess, really how those graphic images from the History Channel are not meant to be literal. They're definitely meant to just be a representation. So Steve and I told Steve, let me overlay this real quick and see. And of course, you can see the
Right. Because I asked you some
Conan.
question about it. I can't remember. Or
Yeah,
I think I
absolutely.
asked you how close is it? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. How close is it? And I said, well, let me see. And so I went and I put the headstone where it is, and I put. You can pretty much see that it's scaled out where C, cone B, and cone A fall where they're supposed to, but it's definitely not on the 30
Right.
degree southwest trajectory. It's skewed a little bit from my main cross line. And I think if I measured their beauty location compared to where my beauty location, I think I told you 33 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you said.
So, and
Yeah.
how many stones are on this island? So we'll see.
Lots. Right.
I'm curious to find out.
You know what you also see there is a certain ship-shaped anomaly
Correct.
on there.
Yes. We're going to lead into that a little later too, but you
Okay.
definitely see I've got that place there.
All right.
And I think that's it for that.
Bed section. All righty.
And then this is the copper image you were talking about earlier from lot 8.
Mm-hmm.
Still can't remember what episode that was, but
Now, I want to say at least 2 years ago. I don't think it was last season.
and again, I'm sure there's plenty of other smart people out there working on what this is and what this is, but I thought I'd draw on it because I like to draw on things, and it it definitely has some interesting iconography. I think I posted to the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group this, and I've already had a whole bunch of views and a different bunch of different other people talking about their ideas. But
Right.
I think the main thought is that this is Norse or Viking. So
Yep. Yep.
even though when
Doug
I
Kroll intimated that in the preview for this upcoming week's episode called Wet and Wild. For obvious reasons, as we showed you.
yeah, get your water wings.
What are we looking at?
Okay, so here we're kind of jumping into the money pit area. I mean, that's the focus of most of our interest, and this is basically, I know it's a little confusing because of all the lines and everything going on and the arrows pointing. This is the image I posted on Discord the other day. And so if you kind of start in the upper left hand corner, I can kind of describe things as we're going by them. But the red dash line is basically where the Smith residence was located on a survey from like 1947. The dashed cyan line with the red arrow pointing at it is the 12 by 12 anomaly from Jeremy Church's seismic stuff. So, is that a cellar for the Smith house? Is that something deeper? Because, on his anomaly, it was between 150 and 160 feet. That's a pretty deep
That's
cellar.
a deep cellar. You could keep a lot of supplies in there.
Lots of fruit and veggies in that cellar.
Maybe that'd be warm in the northeastern winter too. Maybe down
Right,
there. I
right.
don't know. Don't know about that one though.
Don't know. So, anyways, that's again, my map is to kind of just tie a bunch of information in one area. I'm a very visual person. I like to see things together. The History Channel doesn't like to show you all the same information at the same time. They like to jump you around and skip around. So this was kind of my attempt to let's put everything in one location so we can refer to all the different things and see how they relate to each other.
Right. And again, on this show, we're like not. We did focus a little bit on the preview. Um, we will probably make that a bunch quicker in future episodes of this. We may eventually do it live, but like if there's anything that you can think of that like is weighing on your mind, I mean, we can try to weigh in on it and tell you what we remember, and even you make your comments in this video, and we can even like check to see what episode it was in and have all that information for the next show. So if you have anything like that, certainly put it in the comments, and we will get to as many as we can, depending on how many there are.
Feed me,
Hopefully,
Seymour.
there are a ton of them, because there definitely are a ton of unanswered questions. I guess here we can say the disclaimer for the History Channel. History Channel is trying to make the best show that they can.
It's a
And
production.
so, but they have cameras out there filming everything, and probably to Zig and I, every single second of it is worth watching, probably.
Bro, I would love to see all the outtakes and all the clippings
Yeah,
that
it's
never
like the
made to
stuff
the
that
show.
they don't.
And I know a lot of it's cameras moving and
Yeah,
things going panning left and right and tilt and all that, but I
yeah.
mean, you don't even know
Look,
what you might catch.
Rick is taking a break.
Right.
He's having a lemonade.
Dude, I would sit and have a Dr. Pepper with him any day.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, were you done with this one, sir?
I believe so, yeah. This
Alrighty.
is, yeah, that's.
Okay.
Okay, so here we're just zoomed in a little bit. I thought I'd
Mm-hmm.
take a moment and obviously the head and shaft and the chapel shaft,
Mm-hmm.
those are previous searcher locations,
Right.
and I've made a
Again,
discovery in the.
sorry.
Go
Again,
ahead.
we're here. This is all the money pit area, is what
Yeah,
all
we're
this
just kind of
is.
discussing the money pit area. I think like you said, we've alluded to the preview stuff. Now we're kind of filling in some freeform stuff about things I've just
Yeah,
been looking at and working on,
yeah.
and
That's gonna be the most of this show. Whatever the previous episode makes us think of,
we're
what it
deep
could be
diving
related
deeper.
to, or anything we happen to think of during the week. It's saying, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? How does
Right.
that tie together? Yeah,
And that happens to me a lot. I
yeah,
mean, after the
yeah.
show, I'll be thinking of a couple things for the show, and then it'll be like, oh, wait a minute, they talked about this in this
Yeah.
episode. So, and then of course, I've started watching all the seasons over again in my free
Mm-hmm.
time.
Right, and
So,
I'm doing retro recaps, and so I'm up to season 6 in that,
nice.
and so I'm still working on those 6, 7, and 8. I still need to do. All of the rest of the seasons are already done.
Look at
So
that.
that's
I'm on
in my
season
Oak
2,
Island
episode 5.
playlist, which will be in the end screen. There'll be a link to that.
Check out all Steve Money's videos, man. He's doing a great job. He's
Thank you,
well
sir.
informing the community.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so this image, the cyan little teardrop anomaly there was the one that was presented by Jeremy Church on Jay Free's episode the other night. His outstanding explanation of all the seismic
Mm-hmm.
technology stuff that was going on there. But the white dot is kind of my dream drill location. I think it's what is it? E.58. So I would love to see them drill there. Obviously, smack dab in the center of that anomaly. Some people think it's just debris pile that has settled down into that cavern. Some people may think it's a bubble of bedrock that we need to drill through to get down below. So they seem to want to stop every time at bedrock. And I'm like, there are sometimes things under bedrock.
Right. You said, and we can talk about it more
Yeah,
maybe
we'll talk
next
about it
week.
more.
But you said at least one spot on the seismic was under the bedrock.
Yeah, there is in one of the side sections of the 150 to 160 section, there was a dark anomaly that was directly below this teardrop anomaly. So is that a cavern or a chamber or something up underneath this? Hard to say. We'll know when we get there.
Yes, we will.
This called this crisscross money pit sauce because
It's a good name for
I
the file.
mean, and this isn't even everything on, but you can just kind of get an idea of the complexity of all the stuff that's going on this island. All the drill hole locations. The cyan line you see here is the what Jeremy called the solution channel for the 150. The green dash line that you see is the solution channel for, oh no, hold on, I'm telling you wrong. The green line is the solution channel at the 150. I don't think I have the 200 on here. The cyan dash line with the red text next to it, that is from the 3D seismic that he put up. And so I think you can see the forked anomaly there just about the center of the screen where my white dot is. That's that teardrop anomaly that we talked about in the previous image.
Right.
Obviously down southwest of that is Aladdin's
Yep.
cave that they've been not searching in here recently. I almost feel like they've given up on it a little bit.
Think so?
Well,
yeah, they've been trying to go for the.
I think they're going for that teardrop.
Yeah.
In my mind, I feel like they've moved off of Aladdin's and they're trying to go for that teardrop.
Maybe because of the things found at either end of it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you see that purple line coming in from the right, that's a proposed flood tunnel location heading to what has been shown on multiple surveys as the original money pit location. So and of course that's where RF1 is, H8 is. All those are in that little area right there. Go back to the previous image, if you can.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so you can see here H8.
I had to remember what key. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Those hotkeys again. So you can see H8. Jay Free's done a huge video on that and all the stuff they found in that. RF1 is what they thought was probably the original money pit location. The teardrop is just north of that. I mean, you're getting really close right there. Who knows?
When we named it Deep Dives, we were not kidding about this.
We were not kidding. I mean, like 250 feet.
Anybody looking for treasure, which we will have some of that shortly.
You just thought pirates like to dig things 6 foot deep.
Yeah. No, they don't. They do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they definitely do. And especially if you're smart like a Templar and you know about tunnels and shafts and you can carve rock. And I'm surprised there's not a cathedral under here somewhere.
Might be.
As quickly as they built the 5 cathedrals in France, I'm surprised there's not one under Oak Island.
Good point. Might be.
In fact, I think that's even
just got to get under the bedrock, maybe.
I think Gretchen Cornwall even mentioned that there was mention that they had proposed even building a cathedral on Oak Island along Nolan's Cross, and that maybe some of those were the original alignment lines for some of that.
Interesting.
And maybe that's paraphrasing what she said. Obviously, you should watch her video if you want more information on that. And so anyway, this is just kind of the confusion of it. You wonder why they can't find it, because it was hard to find.
Yeah.
They hit it real good. If it's even still there, it's really hidden. I mean, look at all the holes they've drilled in that space.
Right. Science says something is there, and something meaning gold and silver.
Just even literature and technology, and there's a lot of things pointing that says there's something here or was here. Who knows? So, it depends on how far you want to fall down a conspiracy rabbit hole.
Can go forever.
Right. You can go real deep. I showed this because this kind of confirmed for me. I know it's an aerial shot. It's a little bit skewed. It's not directly overhead. But man, for closeness of scale, this was an image that was shared by Paul Troutman's family back when I think it was his dad or his grandfather was a caretaker on the island at one time. And he took a bunch of these photos back then. 60s? I'd have to go look. I'll recap later.
Yeah, that's in case you're having trouble seeing it, that's the chop.
Yeah, the little cyan lines are a little hard to see, but they basically line up right with where the shafts are. And then I don't know if that dirt pile is actually
both supposed to be darn near the money pit.
Yeah, money pit's supposed to be. Well, again, see the white dot right at the upper north corner of the head shaft. There's a white dot on the image right there. And that is that E.5
I see it. Okay,
8 that I want them to drill, which is right on the corner of the head shaft right there. So,
They got into the head and shaft a little bit, but I don't know where
well, in
they.
season 2, they tried to drill right there, and they couldn't get down because the drill was too weak. They were running into all kinds of infill and
Oh,
debris and wood and stone and everything that had been thrown into the hole to
right,
fill it.
right.
And then, of course, Dunfield screwed all this up too. So,
Yes, definitely.
forgive me if I call him Dumbfield on accident,
Okay,
but
that's I will forgive
how
you.
I feel about him.
You are forgiven.
Right.
On behalf of the internet, I will forgive you.
Thanks. So I think that's it. Oh no, this is So this is something that just watching episode 2, they brought up some of these old Restall images, and these are maps. And
Episode 2 of
so I
season 1. Okay.
episode 2, season 2 or 3, I
Oh,
think
okay,
even.
okay.
And if this is a man that anyone should have had respect for, is Robert Restall, because that guy. If these are sketches, these are some of the most accurate sketches I've ever come across in my life. Like for scale and
Mm-hmm.
for being close to proximity to everything. But I've I've now done some drawing on this and done some overlay, but here you can kind of roughly see where the chapel shaft and the hidden shaft are, where the blue dots are kind of uh left hand side of the
Right.
screen. This also shows an old shovel pit down to 45 feet that was probably all covered up and filled in by Dunfield. It shows a couple of natural water wells, water pits just above both of the where I'm showing the garden shaft tunnel in the blue very faintly there, coming from the cave-in pit, but it
Mm-hmm.
shows the cave-in pit. I thought what was most interesting about this one is over here on the shore, there's a note that says Old Rosebush. And why would someone plant an old rosebush out here on the shoreline? And it's right across from where this big boulder is that is referred to as the Rose Stone.
Hmm.
But roses were very Francis Bacon, very
Yeah.
what is it, the Rosicrucians
Yeah.
used roses on
Mm-hmm.
everything. So is that, oh my god, is that related to that? I don't know, but that's really cool. And I'm sure other people already knew about that because I'm kind of late to the game, but that's cool.
Some people didn't know, and you
I
just
bet
told
that
them.
rose bush isn't there anymore.
Right. A lot of stuff not there anymore.
Oh, none of this is. I
Right.
mean, this is all history right here. This is
Right.
all where it says cleared land and bushland. That's all not the same. Man, those roads aren't there anymore. You can still see my center line of Oak Island Drive, kind of in the blue coming up, and it's just, man, that whole area has been manhandled. I think I got a couple more. Yeah, so this
Yeah.
was another sketch that he did, and this was, sorry, it's a little further zoomed out. I was just trying to get a grab of everything, but you can still see here the head and challenge. And I've drawn on this since then too. So this Professor Alexander, which I know nothing about, or no, Professor Hamilton, apparently went down in the Head and Shaft, dug sideways off the Head and Shaft, and then created a tunnel that kind of tied between these two shafts, wrapped around. So I have a feeling that when the rest of us were talking a little bit about the spiral stuff, I
Yeah.
wonder if this is what they were mentioning,
Oh. Right.
because this thing definitely curves around and drops in elevation. And there's a note on here that says our tunnel, 7 foot long off of Hamilton Tunnel, but deepened. So, you know, I don't even think the rest all started from the top. I think they were underground already and then started a shaft underground off of an existing tunnel, because there's not really any records that show this is where the rest all shaft
Oh,
was.
yeah. That never occurred to me
Right.
to even ask, because
But
everybody,
whoever
every different group goes there. You think, oh, well, they started a new shaft somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, with as many shafts have been going on this thing,
Mm-hmm.
you would think you would want to start with somebody else's location, but obviously, just like the garden shaft though, they thought that was early searcher stuff too, so they were like, we don't want to dig there. And now they're like, oh, let's put a 106-foot long shaft down there.
Yeah.
So things change.
They do indeed.
But, oh, here I zoomed in a little bit just so you could get a
Oh,
better
yeah.
idea. Yeah, Professor Hamilton's tunnel. Oh, 1942, he dug that. So this is, what, 5 years after the hidden shaft was dug? This Professor Hamilton came in and dug from both ends of the hidden shaft underground, it looks like. And he looks almost like he intersected the Halifax tunnel also. Because you can see that little note there
Yeah.
that says Halifax
Yeah.
tunnel. In fact, go back one image or up, down. So you see my circle with the Halifax pit there on the right in red?
Yeah.
That's the proposed location of the Halifax pit from
Oh.
that previous map of the rest all we were looking at, which measures about 118 feet from the money pit. So I think they said they put it 120 feet. I mean, 118, 120, that's
Right.
really close. But the rectangle right there in the middle, that was the rest all shaft. Our tunnel, they called it. So pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Unfortunate they were taken from all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for Money Pit area.
One more.
One more?
Yeah.
This might have been just me zooming in on that area so you could see a little closer where. So you see the white granite drilled rock?
Yeah.
Gray drilled rock?
Mm-hmm.
That white granite drilled rock falls
So
exactly where the
top
drilled
center
rock
there
is on
is what he's talking
previous
about.
surveys. Smith's Cellar, yeah. And then you can see it's a little offset from where that Smith residence was shown on the previous, but still pretty close there. Oh, the ship shape anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a ship? Sure looks like a ship. Sure has the proportions of a ship.
Somebody got some splaining to do if it's not
Yeah,
one.
Lucy.
About how does that happen? Yeah, you got some splaining, Toto.
And here I kind of speculated that maybe it was pointed outward. I know most people think that it was facing into the cove. My thought was, well, they brought it in and then turned it around and were ready to head out, and then they decided maybe not to, or whatever. Again, speculating.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
So the white lines you see here are the outlines of Jeremy's seismic. The little red and the image is actually a Spanish galleon called the, what do I call it?
Oh gosh. It has C in it.
Oh, yeah, I know. Why can't I remember? Anyway, it was a Spanish galleon, had a 19-foot draft, which means it could have fit in this cove. And then your article you're going to share here in a little bit.
Yeah.
My goodness, man, I didn't realize they could fit that many people on one of those ships.
Right. The swamp
Yeah,
much
the ABC,
deeper than
your
people
ABC
would
article
think.
that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that goodness, I mean, so
Yeah.
I forget
I
what
can
I
pull that
told
up
you. It was
right
like
now.
60 tons of silver and gold, or I can't. God, it was amazing. Everything that was on those ships was just crazy.
There you go.
Yeah, 17 billion.
Yeah. San Jose off of the coast of Colombia. And so it was found a while ago, 1708. So if you're keeping score at home, that's 87 years before the money pit was discovered.
Yep.
Just if you're keeping score at home.
And in
And
that
yeah,
article, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
gold, just gold, silver, everything on it. And
Oh,
so,
it said 150 foot long. It had 64 guns. It was three masted. It's comprised of 200 tons of silver and emeralds,
yeah,
11 million gold coins,
that's a lot
an
of
an
coins.
intact Chinese dinner service, and porcelain pottery. And then I think they even show a picture of the porcelain cups in your little article there. And man, they sure got that blue and white like those ones found in the swamp. I didn't mention to that. in Discord, but if you keep scrolling down a little bit, right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I mean that blue stuff in there. I mean the last ones they found in the swamp did have blue on it. But I
Yeah.
think it was more like design, like an Aztec type of design with the
I don't know.
like
I
that.
can't speak to the design, but I mean
Yeah, me
they
either.
used a lot of Greek keys on that stuff. They
Right.
used a lot of, and I think even Jamie Kuba
Hmm.
talked about that. She thought it was a transfer pattern originally, but then when she looked at it, she
Oh,
said, "Nope,
right. She said
that's
no,
hand painted."
painted,
So,
hand painted, which means of
oh, JK.
course older. Alrighty.
So anyway, that's cool. That'll be interesting to find out one more. I wonder if they'll make
Yeah,
a history show about that.
they should
They should.
get some of that money back for the
That's right.
operation. Although they already found it, so it's just bringing it up.
Oh, this? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the
so
biggest
it's
thing with this was figuring out who was going to get to own it.
it was a while
I mean, the
before.
Spanish wanted it, the
Hmm.
Colombians wanted it, the
Right.
some independent American company
The
wanted
stuff on
it.
it came from all over, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right.
how do you
Anywhere they
disseminate
loot
that
it.
kind of stuff back to the
Right.
owners if you
Right.
don't know where it came from?
That's right.
We've all stolen stuff from each other.
That's right.
I'm just talking about different nationalities and countries over the
Right. Not
years.
me and him
War,
personally.
not me and you. No,
We live in different states, so we
I don't
probably
steal
didn't
from.
do that.
I'm not a thief. So.
Right. Maybe he said something about Oak Island once that I pretended it was mine. Maybe. Probably not, though.
You're right.
He
Yeah.
more talked about the maps and overlays and stuff like that, and I'm like, barely understanding if that.
So I do want to mention here, though, that I'm not sure this is where this is. This is be my disclaimer of this is not necessarily, this is my
Oh,
closest understanding of where the ship shape anomaly may be.
got you.
There's quite a number of people who think it may be closer to Nolan's Peninsula, but
The red ones are the lot lines.
yeah, red ones are lot
Okay,
lines.
so I know some
And
stuff.
I'll be honest with you on those two. I don't try to show those a lot because those come off of an old, smaller map. Also, I'm not real sure.
Mm,
I've tried to do my best to line those up with like tree lines and breaks and
right.
aerials and the lidar stuff and get those as close as they can. But I those are all from like an 1861 survey or something like that. So they may or may not be accurate.
And in the
They're very
blue,
close.
victory is another point on the Tree of Life.
Another point on the Sephiroth. Yep. And then that little blue streak line is that main creek line that we've talked about from time to time running down the swamp when they
Yeah,
drain it.
yeah, which
That
is what I
main
thought the
tributary.
thing first was in Nolan's front yard. I thought that was it, but nope, different water.
And then I'm still working on the Stone Road and some of that stuff that's being built down there. I haven't really, to RJ's dismay, I haven't really done a
Yeah,
whole lot around that. I've been more caught up on the Tree of Life and the Money Pit areas,
yeah.
but
Only
I'll
so
get
little
there.
time. So little
Oh
time.
yeah, I
So
mean,
many
when you only
things.
have a few hours in the
So little
evening
time.
after work to work on it, and
That's right.
some hours on the weekend, you do what you can.
That's right. Ready for
I'm
the
not
next one?
getting paid for this.
Ready for the next slide?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. So this is just showing the. Let me find that real quick. This is I want to make sure, the Santiago de Compostela from
Oh,
1540.
there you go.
And the reason I wanted to use this image was obviously because it was a Spanish galleon. It had the closest draft height. It technically could hold 600 people and 11 million gold coins, 200 tons of silver and emeralds, Chinese dinner service, and porcelain pottery. So that was this is a scale drawing. This is a 1:64 scale drawing. So I was actually able to proportionally outline it. And then if you want to go
It's not
back one,
painted though, Doc. It's a
not
scale,
painted,
but
and I
it's not
haven't
painted.
built it in life size yet.
That's right.
Steve keeps giving
One
me
day.
hell about all that.
One day.
Go back one more image.
Oh, back?
So yeah, back one. Yes, sorry.
That one?
So if you can very faintly see the red lines over the image. What I actually did was I actually even rotated the image in the Z axis, so I kind of tilted it at 30 degrees. So that's why it looks a little squished here, but that's about how it would look top down
Oh,
if
I
it was
see.
laying on its
I
side.
see.
Because the image I drew was a full on side view, I thought if I skewed it a little bit, it might look, and it did. I mean,
Right.
I wasn't even doing that. I did that before I moved it over here to the anomaly and was like, oh, look how close that is. God, it's mind blowing. I want to find a ship there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm sure the Laginas do too.
Absolutely.
All right, so this has been a pretty. This is from what was this? Was this
Iowa
last week's
Silver.
episode? Yeah, Hio Silver, and this was the the page, the sketch out of the Cataclysm book
Yes.
that John Edwards brought to the show, and apparently everyone in the world is looking for now. And people, I just want to say this on your show also.
Yeah.
They are looking for the one that has the sketches in it,
Right, of course.
not not the regular book. These sketches are not in every book.
Right.
Don't go buy a $15,000 book without sketches in it, and don't do it anyway. Send an email.
Who who
They'll
sent
buy it.
him the picture of it? That's what I want to
What's that?
know.
Who
Why?
sent him the picture?
Yeah, whoever
Yeah,
sent him the picture. What?
he even said, he said, I don't have the book, but I was shown the image from the book. Well, I don't want to be
Maybe
like, that
email that
sounds
guy
great.
back and say, "Hey, do you have the book or
Yeah,
where
yeah.
is
Do
it?"
you own this book? Right, exactly.
Maybe
Or where
maybe
did
the
you get this picture?
everybody gets ghosted, even John Edwards.
And then
That's
I
what
want
they.
to point out, because I don't want to take full credit for this, getting inky with it on Discord,
Oh,
she
okay.
was the first one that pointed out these relationships between the Nova Scotia lines and the Gold River lines and everything
Oh,
else. And
right,
then
right,
that's when I
right,
was like,
right,
oh, well, I'm going to go take this in and look at that
right.
because, yeah.
He's talking about the J-Free 906. They also have
Uh,
a Discord group.
she is on the J Free
Yes.
906 Discord, yes. And she is a regular of the Wednesday night
Podzig
episodes
podcast
or
as well.
whatever. Yes,
Yes.
yes. I believe her full name is some getting pinky with it, something getting
Okay.
inky with it.
Yes. I'm assuming tattoos.
I
That's
like
what
to
she's
give credit
talking
where
about.
credit's due. I'm not trying to steal anyone's things. I
Right.
just like again, I'm
Yeah.
this is just an information gathering and research for me. So
Okay. It's
I
good to
just want to
talk about
share what I
stuff.
see. Yeah, I like to talk about stuff and I like to draw on things to make it clearer so we can see show relationships. So now everyone seems to think that that castle up in the corner may be New Ross.
Right. I've been hearing that.
And Henry DeWitt is looking to try and figure out what the 4+ means. He thinks that might be the travel distance between Oak Island and we.
Oh, you think it says
I know
plus?
I'm yeah. So they're right there below the little what looks like a river line right below the castle. It looks like 4+.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the words above it, at the top of it,
Oh
where it
no.
says like, didn't it say fourplex or something like that?
Oh yeah, it says
Or
FLX 157, I
FLX. Yeah.
believe, above it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
It could have been him. Maybe it was his password, and he wrote it on the same page. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe.
So, anyways, everybody's kind of speculating about what these things are.
Okay.
So I just want to share this, and then so that very faint red line. That's the cross arm of the Nolan's Cross, pointing towards New Ross. And the
Ah.
other red line that's headed up to the northeast, that is the main line of Nolan's Cross, the main axis of Nolan's Cross. And by all intents and purposes, that should point towards Versailles and Jerusalem. And I've confirmed that on Google Earth. So Chris and
There you go.
Corian are on their game right there, man.
Authors of
Read
the
their book if you get
Jerusalem
a chance.
Files. Yep.
Yeah, read their book if you get a chance because it's got a lot. But be ready because you're going on a ride, man. It's definitely like an adventure all around Europe and, and everywhere else. It took me I'm still not done with it, but it's taken me forever to read that book. It's like a wild journey. Lots of information, lots of names, lots of places, lots of alignments, lots of cool art and statues to look at. I would have loved to have been a fly on their shoulder for that trip. So I don't know if there's. Oh, I think that Tom has asked, are those Samuel Ball's 100 acres there on the right, the three buildings? I don't know. I don't know what those
Oh, is that
structures
why
are.
that came up
Yeah, yeah, I was on
recently? Because
the
they
J
were
Free,
wondering where's his properties at on
yeah, the
the
Oak Island
mainland,
Skinwalker Ranch
and
Facebook
yeah,
group.
yeah,
So
that
it's hard to say. And then
would
that
be
kind of
interesting.
drove. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. So that kind of made me ask the same question, and that's actually what made me about this same time is when I'm watching season 2, episode 3, and Jay Hutton
Pulitzer.
Pulitzer is on there talking about the 8-pointed star, and I start looking at the 8-pointed star, and I'm like, well, where's the 8-pointed star at? And now they've said the Bedford Barrens,
Mm.
and again, if at some point when you go to my Google Earth map, look because I've located the Bedford Barrens, and they are directly off this line that goes towards Jerusalem and Versailles. So it is quite possible that if I find the location of this 8-pointed star, it could fall right on that line. So what does that implement? Well, I mean, what does that? That means
Well,
the Mi'kmaq were in talking with, and we think that's
yeah,
true that they'd met the Templars, they'd met the Vikings, they were all intercommunal. So
yes, one big
awesome
happily.
stuff.
I can't. I've already thought of Vyklars. I can't fit the Mi'kmaq in there as well. I can't do that.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I can do that.
Viklar, Mick. Yeah,
Right.
I don't even want to offend
Too
anybody.
many
So
people. Yeah, only
yeah,
two people and a couple name.
yeah.
Yeah.
But but this is a very cool image, and I'm excited to see what more we
It
learn
is.
about this when they find the book,
Right.
and when they get the ink tested. What's that going to show? And what are all those cool images? What's the cactus? Where's there a cactus on Oka? No, I don't think it's a cactus. I
No.
honestly feel like that might be showing flood tunnels or something.
Oh, maybe. Done with
Hard to
this one.
say.
Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna say next when you're done with the
Yeah,
image.
I think we got one more, a couple
Okay.
more after this, and we're getting close.
Okay.
And
I think this is it.
I say, hello, Mary Queen of Scots.
That's right. Hail.
Sorry, I leave her up there for inspiration
We
from
will
time
never
to
be
time.
royals, though.
Yeah, right. I will never be
That's
royal.
right.
So this is what I've been staring at for like the last couple of days. This is a this is a composite of the white lines that you see that are kind of going everywhere. So back in what was it, season 3, episode 1, they did the nuclear magnetic resonance imaging from space, and they showed all the different locations of the metals and the materials that they found on the island. There
Oh, I
was a
do
ship,
remember that now. Yeah.
the ship's bell, and I think Jay Free's going to do a whole episode on that episode at some point too.
Yeah.
But
You brought it back
anyway,
first, though.
so the white lines that you're seeing are what they called tunnels from that survey. I mean, sit and think
Hmm.
about it, talk about it, show it to your friends. The colors are all the magnetometer survey that was done.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't even tell you when that was done. I think that might have been season 4 or 5 or so.
Something like that.
I'd have to go back and look. Uh, red is the least amount of conductivity, so therefore the least disturbed land. Purple and white are the highest. I mean, you do like I did. You spend some time with this image and just look around, and it's just amazing that some of those white lines fall out about where some of the dye tests were showing. Like if you look down there in the Southern Cove area
Yeah.
there where those white lines are protruding out, I mean, that's really close to where all those dyes were coming
Hmm.
out. So I don't know, man. There's probably a bunch of tunnels under this ground, and
Right.
we haven't found them all.
Does the
One of the interesting things on this one is the one that looks like Taurus. Don't tell Mitchell Adler. It looks like Taurus.
I won't.
It's got bull horns and a head like a bull. The left there.
Does the line from about that goes northeast just slightly, like under like where the mouth would be, approximately goes up and then
Yeah,
goes more at
the,
45
the white
degrees.
line at the tip there,
Does
yeah,
that
that goes all
match
the way.
up with the tunnel area in the seismic?
Where's the mouth you're talking about? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
The elephant's mouth, like where the elephant's
Oh, the
mouth would
mouth.
be,
Yeah, yeah,
like
down below. Yes, yes, yes.
maybe, yeah.
So there is a cross line of tunnels that show there that kind of do match up with some other geometry.
Hmm.
That's one of the things about these NMRI tunnels. They're kind of like have a life of their own. They don't really follow the norm of what we know other things to be, and yet they're really close to pointing at certain things that you'd be like, well, shoot, yeah. I mean, if I was going to put a tunnel there and put some, I mean, just like where they're getting ready to dig for the beauty, or where they're talking about the Mercy Point.
Hmm.
See the white line going left, right on the screen there? I
Yeah.
mean, that's supposed to be a tunnel. So who's to say that that tunnel doesn't run all the way from the mouth of the elephant up north through the swamp and then diverge left to go over to the Mercy Point or to the Kingdom or any of those points right
Right.
there. So again, this is I love to sit and
Very
just
good
speculate
stuff.
with
Yeah.
things. Yeah, so
Great
this is a
stuff.
nice overlay of the NMRI with the magnetometer and then the Sephiroths and the money pit and Mary Queen of Scots for inspiration.
Yeah. And that was the
Keep me on my
last
toes.
one, right?
And then I think we got one more after this. Yeah,
Oh, did we?
yeah. I think the baronets, right?
Yes.
Oh no, no, no.
Yeah,
This
that
is
one first, and then
this,
the.
just me playing around with sacred geometry. I was watching relics of the Knights Templar, lost relics of the Knights
Mhm.
Templar on the Science Channel the other night. And this image on the left is Jerusalem. That is the Templar cross with the four crosses is supposed to represent the center cross is Jerusalem, and the four other crosses are the four corners of the earth. And it's amazing to me that at 1 inch by 1 inch, again, the proportions of these are just like you could use this as a compass rose. You could use this iconography could be used to determine bearings and headings, lengths, distances. If you had this on a coin or on a tattoo or whatever, you're pretty much set up with your own pocket scale. I mean, I love it. I like to look at lines.
I can
Geometry
tell.
is amazing.
Yeah, indeed.
And I think one more after
Yep.
this. This is something I just recently been working on. You're familiar with Oak Island Plus, um, Jim McQuiston and Doc Hamels. They have their own YouTube channel where they once a month are kind of going through the whole history of Oak Island. They're trying to track down where did it start, when did it start, when did it come here, and it's kind of expanded beyond just Oak Island. I mean, it includes all of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and all that area too, and that's kind of what this was. Jim posted a map that showed where the original Knights Baronets of Nova Scotia subdivided their plots of land in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. And oh, I can't remember what the name of that. Hold on 1 second. I can't remember what the name of that area is up to the in the very north center there. It has an an old First Nation name to it. But anyway, this kind
Okay.
of shows you where all the important people that were in the Knights Templar at that time and were migrating to Nova Scotia to gather land and gather material and stuff. This is where they were setting up, and you can see these ones just to the left of uh, well, where Oak Island would be, just southwest of where I got New Ross. I mean, those are like what 50 miles from. This has been mentioned in his video too, but they station themselves pretty close to the Money Pit and to Oak Island for there not to maybe be anything there. So but it gives a good relationship. I love history also. I love to see how my plan for this. I kind of use this last because it's not finished. My plan is to go back and figure out who were each of these plot owners and why were they where they were and
That's a lot of research
what were
you're
they
going to have to
what were they
do
doing there.
before the next episode.
Yeah, we'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's all I've got. I mean, was that enough? Did I do okay?
Yeah, you did great.
All right.
You're a natural.
Yeah, I think we did
What
good.
did you do? What did you
And
do?
hopefully we've given a lot more for people to think about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want to save the lightning round stuff for next time? We've done an hour 10. Didn't feel like
We
it.
got an hour and 10
Hour
minutes.
and 10 of gold, yes.
Yeah, we probably better call it.
Okay, alrighty.
We can do it. We can do more of these.
Okay, right. And we were just gonna just talk about other things that aren't necessarily related to anything that we were talking about, except that it has to do with Oak Island. But we will get into those on the next
I
one.
mean, we kind of talked about your ship and the ABC article about the
We sort of brushed
most
on that.
expensive one and all.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
I
So yeah.
mean,
Okay,
it's been a great first
we'll save the
experience.
stuff for the next one then.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Coach Steve
Once
Money.
again, the YouTube channel, sir.
My YouTube channel.
Yes.
Don Capo Productions. DonCapo Productions.
Right.
Long story. Got a bunch of friends
Alrighty.
back in the day that called me Don Capo.
And again, shout out to Jfree 906 podcast. And
It's all
without
his
that
fault.
gentleman, Zig and I would not know each other.
Yeah, this is his
So
fault.
that's the
I mean,
beautiful
he
of the
put us
internet.
together.
Absolutely. So if
He
it
started
fails,
all
we
this.
blame it on him.
He sent me the
Absolutely.
first image, and I was like hooked. So
Yeah. So definitely
technically,
check him out and tell him again, Steven
yeah.
Zig sent him by. Sent you by. Alrighty, and I'm of course Coach Steve Money, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. If you have any questions about anything on my YouTube channel, and of course, if you have any questions about anything Zig explained, I'll be putting some questions in the comments myself for him probably. But if you have any questions about that, do that, and we'll do a wrap up, a recap rather, next week.
Stay tuned.
Yep, stay tuned. And of course, again, Wet and Wild, Curse of Oak Island, this coming Tuesday. And I, as usual, will have the preview of the next show. And also, late Tuesday night, I'll also have the no cap recap of that episode. Right? Thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting. And we so much appreciate you watching.
Peace, love, and Oak Island, folks.
Peace, love, and Oak Island.